And I am back. And as you know, it is the date of October the 5th, 2023. And it marks a very special occasion. Today marks my 15th anniversary of being here on YouTube since I first started. And I have to say, I've had my ups and downs, highs and lows. Many fans have come and many of them have gone. Others have discouraged me as well. And well, I couldn't be more thankful to have guys like you here, and I have to say I'm very glad I've lasted this long. But there were other users out there who have been out there longer than I have, just under a couple of years or so. But hey, at least I'm among the oldest in the generation who have used this. Uh, Apologies if you can hear something going on in the background. That's just some water going on. We're just testing out some new stuff in the bathroom. Apparently, we've just had some new sinks installed. So I apologize if you can hear that in the background. But either ways, it's been fantastic. 15 years, I'm still here. Even though I am as limited as I am to voice dubbing and doing other projects if I can help it. But I'm just glad to know that it's just, amazing that I've lasted this long. And for you fans who've been at my side for a long while, I'm very, very happy about it. Truly, I am. For those of you who want to join the celebration, I've left a link with you in the chat. And if you want to pop in, be my guest. Be right back, guys. Something's fruit's coming up. Okay, guys, I'm here. Hey there, David Hall. Nice to see you. Been a long, long time. It has been a decade and a half for me, but there are others out there who have outlasted me, or there are some behind me who have risen more than I ever did. But it's really good at this time of this year. But I am among the older generation of YouTube users, and I'm still here. And it's really, really amazing to know how far I've come. And it's good to know that you guys are still here with me and enjoy what I do. I mean, heck, I'm still limited to voice dubbing and whatnot, but it's always good to talk and reminisce about a lot of things. Um, Again, a lot of fans are coming and going. They love to see my old content that they remembered from 10 years ago. And all the comments I get are just a blessing. It really goes to show that even all the stuff that I've had to endure and others have done in the Thomas community and in different fandoms, whether you're in Star Wars, wrestling, or anime, or anything like that. We've all had our highs and lows, and we're still here. Some have rebounded tremendously, and I'm just one of many who have done so. I'm just so proud to know that I've still got loyal fans who still believe that I'm one of the best. Um, like I said, if anybody wants to join in, I've got the link here, and you can pop in and join in if you'd like to. So about that, guys, I'm just getting some text messages there left and right. It happens a lot. Hey there, Astro Boy. Nice to see you. Richie Zeppelin, good evening to you too. If you guys want to pop in, I have a link for you at the top. Hang on, let me just do it again if you haven't seen it. Oh, God. Hang on. Oh, you know everyone, you know they might just heard you say that. Oh, my God. You can't. Have you seen anything? LOL. Yeah, I saw it when you were mum. Jesus Christ. I know, it's really out for one. Hopefully it's not too warmed up. I did put some golden through that. And I've left that open there for you.
It's like that.
What was your fourth?
No.
Yeah. Anyways, see what we get.
Have I done you ready?
No, you're starting to. I want to, in the
The
background.
second one.
No, not that. I'm screaming now. I'm on live. I can't see if I can hear you.
Okay.
Jeez, man. Do you want to get. Anyways, let's just see what we got. Let's see what else we've got here. This name, all the guys are just going to pop in, but just,
Hey?
just going to have guys pop in to join in. In case you're going to wonder who voice that is. I'm just saying because I always get little notes I can hear my screen through and I get nervous. I'm on my own, all right. Oh, that'll be enough in there for you, Mum. That'll be enough in there. Oh, Bright Witch is here too. Brian Welch. Nice name. Wonder who that could be. Thanks, David. Oh, that does mean a lot. Well, there's actually somebody else called Todius9 who's been doing some good Halloween stuff. You can check his videos out. Some of them have got some of my older stories in there that are really, really good. Back in my earlier years, I guess. MCR. Oh, it's you, Brown Witch. Nice. And pretty good looking icon too, let me tell you. Yep. Hey there, Brian. Well, it's nice to see. I didn't realize you updated yourself. It's pretty cool.
Thanks. It's the character Sammy the Shunter, if you've ever heard of him.
Yes, I think I've heard of that name somewhere. That does ring a bell. Hey, Astray Boy, nice to see you. Well, it's been quite a long while, but it's nice to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. It has been a while.
Been about a couple of months or something like that, but yep, we're still here.
Yep. By the way, I'm planning on organizing a group in the future because we're actually planning on building a replica of a 4-truck Shay locomotive.
Nice. Interesting.
Hi, Bear.
Yeah, because there aren't that many 4-truck Shays around today because all we see are just 2 trucks and 3-truck Shays.
Oh, the Shay, the Lima Bowden locomotives, I see.
Yeah.
Intriguing. Oh, Brian's muted himself. I was just going to say,
I think maybe he had to go do something.
He'll be back eventually. Oh, there he is.
Now he's here. He did want you to hear his parents over him.
So, right, again, like I said, it's October the 5th, and it marks 15 years since I first started, and I'm still here.
I'm actually getting my Halloween profile pic ready.
Nice. Not to mention, not only is it, not is it only my anniversary, but it's also my favorite WWF Legends anniversary. It's also Kane's anniversary, which is 25th anniversary. So it's a double celebration, as you can tell by my icon.
I see. By the way, I've managed to reach 300 subs.
Congrats. Here's to another 300 subs. Yeah, but by the way, Brian, I saw you in your DA stuff. You got some really good new icons uploaded. That's really good.
Thanks.
Again, Tius9's got some new stuff up. He's got one of my old ones uploaded very soon, and it's going to be quite intriguing. And it's got one of these here. I'll just put my thing here. Let me just get my share screen uploaded. There we go. Here we go. This is what I was doing.
I'm going to show you something what I made out of a model kit that I got.
Okay. This is the new stuff I've been doing lately on my DA thing. I mean, I'm going to get these started very soon. In terms of writing stories in.
Nice.
Here we go. These were the stuff I uploaded recently. If you didn't know, that's the one Tius is going to be reusing because I made it for him specially. These are the new ones I uploaded before one of the old train sites went down, which is sad, really, because it had the 210-06 Gordon, which is really, really good.
Nice.
I'm getting quite used to this version of him anyway. And then there was this one. I know Wild in the West did a good version, but this one is really good, but you can't find this one anymore. His smoke deflector Gordon's really, really good. It doesn't run very fast, but it looks good in terms of its quality and everything.
Yeah, that is kind of good, actually.
Yeah, it's the best one. I mean, it would be good if they could do this for the 06 version of Gordon, then that would be perfect.
Yeah. By the way, I wanted to show you something what I have made out of the model kit that I got.
And that would be? Oh, you finally got Britannic, did you?
Well, actually, I got another Titanic model kit, but I'm converting it into the Britannic.
And by the way, how it looks so far, it's almost replicating what my version of Titanic looks like when she's on the surface, besides her third funnel stack being not there.
Yeah, well, there's some progress of it, but I still need to order some parts from Shapeways, because Shapeways have parts that I would basically needed to finish this model.
I see. So you're not using the Revell parts or something?
Exactly. Once I get the parts, the ship would be completed, and hopefully I might be able to try to find the Olympic, so that way I can have 3 Olympic-class liners.
Well, you can still, if you want to. Your best bet is to go on eBay or Amazon. That's your best bet.
Yeah.
And look for the cheapest one possible if you can, with free delivery.
Yeah. By the way, you actually heard about this cruise ship called the Costa Concordia, right?
Oh, yeah, I have, yeah. I remember it very well.
Yeah, I can't believe that it had to struck a rock.
Yeah. But it was nowhere near the level of Titanic disaster, and I'll tell you that much, despite the fact that was a year before the Titanic's 100th anniversary.
Yeah. Like,
at least
literally, there's not even like a trying to get, the evacuation started up, trying to let people go into the lifeboats.
At least it didn't capsize over like Britannic did, otherwise it would have been complete deep or whatever, but at least it sank in shallow waters.
Yeah. Well, at least it didn't sink that very deep.
I know, I'm just saying. But at least it got salvaged and scrapped in the end eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the company was not really happy about, Captain Scatino.
Indeed.
they're not very happy, and that caused millions of property damage.
Definitely did. You even questioned my thing about cruise ships, not as safe as you would think back,
hmm I'm actually pretty surprised that the Titanic is not the only ship that had encountered an iceberg before.
Oh, definitely. There was one that happened in 1886 or 89 or whatever it was that had a similar instance, but survived.
And and from what I've also heard, a cruise ship actually did encounter one actually, but it still stayed afloat.
Indeed.
I've also been reading the story of the Titan.
Yep, which was basically based on Titanic's disaster, or actually was foreseen by the same guy who predicted such a catastrophe.
Yep.
And we've only been seeing
guess-
recent images of what the Titan would have looked like, if you know what I'm saying. Not as big as Titanic, but was still the length of 2 football pitches.
I'm definitely very excited to see the replica of the Titanic.
Well, it's been too long now since we've heard of anything from Clive Palmer's Titanic, but I'm hoping it can happen.
Yeah.
It all comes down to cash.
And
But
I do also heard that it's going to be traveling on the same route as the original Titanic did.
Yep. First, you'll have to sail from Shanghai to England, and then it will go over to the US and back again. But Palmer said in one of the reviews 10 years ago in 2013, he said, if it takes longer, it'll take longer, but they'll still do it until we get there.
So I would still imagine if they would also build the replica of the Olympic or even the Britannic. That would have been much cooler.
Yes, that would have been quite nice. Rebuild the Olympic class back to as they were and have a second chance of life.
It's really kind of sad that the Olympic didn't have a chance to be preserved.
Much like Queen Mary did.
Yeah.
And if it had been retired, it would have been taken back to the old Thompson Dry Dock in Belfast, and that's where it would have been since. And then it could have been turned, and then it could have basically masqueraded as Titanic, so that because it would have been the closest thing to what it would have been like,
Yeah. And still, the Queen Mary is like a true legendary ship, and like the successor ship, the Queen Mary 2, still continued the legacy.
Well, not to mention I've been on Queen Mary. It's the closest to being on the Titanic, let alone it's actually a movie star that has portrayed as Titanic, both the real version and, of course, the fictional Titanic too. So, and of course, it portrays SS Poseidon as well. It's a good plane to be on.
Yeah. By the way, you heard about the last surviving White Star Line ship called the SS Pneumatic, right?
Yep, I've seen it. 10 years ago, I was in Belfast, and I saw it.
And how did it feel to actually see it?
It's right there in front of the museum. Sometimes you can actually go on board it.
Yeah. They didn't let us go when I was there, but I did see it.
It's like a teeny...
I really wish that they would actually be able to have her steamed up and give passengers a great tour. A great experience of what the pneumatic used to do back in the old times.
Or basically just do a mini variation of what Titanic could have looked like, just on a much smaller scale.
Yeah, sometimes people like to refer those like the pneumatic and traffic little sister ships of the Olympic class.
Well, obviously, because they're all that's left, even though they're not related.
True. But I can't believe that the have you watched a YouTuber called Historic Travels?
Yes, I have.
Did he also tell you about what happened to the SS Traffic?
I remember about that. Yeah, it was quite sad, really.
Yeah, I can't even believe that the Nazis had to use it against its allies.
Well, definitely in wartime, that would have been doing anything, we would have done the exact same thing for anybody else. But
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, it's really kind of sad that the pneumatic lost traffic.
Indeed. Although if they had been smart enough, if in today's time, we could have built a brand new one, almost like a replica variation.
Exactly. Like
Name it SS
if
Traffic
the
2.
if the replica Titanic was completed and went into Cherbourg, France, imagine if the pneumatic would still do its job today, like it used to do back in the old times.
That would be good. And then we get the classic thing in the paintings and in the RMS film as well. That would be quite cool. Recreate some of that old White
Yeah,
Star
and
Line.
I was actually surprised that Historic Travels actually have managed to found a footage of the pneumatic, like being next to on could it be on Titanic or the Olympic? I can't tell. Yeah, I really can't tell because in that footage, I really can't tell if it could be the Olympic or Titanic.
It could have been either one of them.
Yeah, even like Thomas Andrews is actually pretty thrilled to see his creation, like really worked out.
Oh, we did. There were a lot of things that when the Titanic was built in the Olympic, they had a lot of new things that the other lines never had before. Like I said, they were a new generation of liners. White Star did things differently compared to the other companies.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we all do know that the pneumatic and the traffic can only be served for all White Star Line ships.
Obviously. I mean, Cunard and the other companies would have done the exact same thing if they had any.
Mm-hmm. But
Except
ever since they
Cunard.
were sold to two companies, now they are served to all ships from other companies.
Well, except Cunard vessels were much more faster ships, and White Stars only was slower but more bigger. After all, they relied on speed. They all relied on size and luxury. They never went for speed.
Mm-hmm. And we all do know that the pneumatic only serves for first and second class, and the traffic only served third class.
Yeah, that was for the image. That was basically, as they would say, for stowage passengers.
Mm-hmm.
I always call them third class. I do. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
the new Titanic, had it been built, it would have been first and second. It would have been pretty much a modern day style, but third class would have had the modern day look, but still maintaining the clothing of that generation.
Yeah. I mean, ever since the sinking of the Titanic happened in 1912, I really can't believe that Thomas Andrews had to go down with the Titanic.
I mean, if you're going to go down with any ship, you might as well go down with the Titanic.
Yeah. I mean, he is the person who designed the Olympic and Titanic. And as for the Britannic, she would have been much more larger than her two sisters. Like, she'll be far more luxurious. Like, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
But sadly, the Britannic never had the chance when she struck a mine.
Sure you're right. I'm still here, there. Still here, guys. Brian, you still there?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Imagine, like, if we're in an alternate timeline, like, what if the Britannic didn't sink from a mine?
Well, she probably would have survived and had a much longer career. Maybe. Would have lasted longer than Olympic and Titanic, I'll tell you that much. There's actually a YouTube user called Ocean Liners Design, and he's actually very good with what he can do with his alternative what ifs, and he did that with Britannic. You should go and check it out. It's really good.
Oh yeah, I've watched those videos, and I
Yeah.
actually enjoyed those videos, and I subscribed to his channel.
Me too. I like what he did. He did the one like, what if Titanic ran in the iceberg and still stayed afloat? Like, his animations are very, very good.
Exactly, like he's actually very, very good at this. What do you mostly think about the Queen Mary 2?
One of the best. And still going to this day. She's actually, despite how modern she is, she's actually the last ocean liner built in terms of the word ocean liner. So, yeah. So,
And
what?
we all know that the name still continues on. That's like from the original Queen Mary.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, it's really like a good thing that the legacy still keeps going.
Well, of course, that's the Cunard tradition, and they're still going. And they even have the White Star Line champagne paint stuff in tradition as well, since Cunard overtook White Star afterwards in the 1930s.
Yeah, I mean, when they merged, they were actually called Cunard White Star when they merged together.
Oh, yeah, that was caught in the midst of the Great Depression.
Hmm.
Although, as me and Brian will tell you, sometimes merging doesn't always work out. Like, when we go now, if we shift from the topic on steam trains or railroading, you'll know that there was a couple of mergers that went down. They even did it. I mean, some have been successful, like Burlington Northern and Santa Fe merged together, and they've been successful since. But we all know the New York Central and the Pennsylvania was one of the worst mergers ever, despite it was a cool-looking name. But
Yeah.
it just didn't last.
Yeah,
did
things
actually-
did not go very well between those two companies.
So
What'd you say, Brian?
I said my dad actually worked for a railroad that was owned by Penn Central.
Oh, did he, huh?
Yeah.
Wait, he actually did. Wait, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't actually know.
Indiana belt.
If I'm not mistaken, I mean, I know Norfolk and Western Southern merged to form the Norfolk Southern program, which is one of the best mergers. But I also heard some people have told me like a what if scenario. Like there was one proposal that happened when Santa Fe and Southern Pacific were going to try and merge, and then just think of that.
Yeah.
And just imagine if
Yeah.
that had happened.
It would have been awesome to see the Southern Pacific and Santa Fe Railway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
think of some of the Santa Fe engines kind of wearing the light colors, or if one of the Southern Pacific engines will win the ACSF livery or something like that. Regardless, just imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, I would still imagine if the Kodachrome paint scheme would still exist today, if the merger would have been successful.
Indeed. I know.
Like even if they did develop the paint schemes from the start, they had to keep them separate before the merger would be a success.
Oh, definitely. It would have been called. I'm not sure how it would have gone, but I think it would have been called the Ashton Topeka Southern, or it would have been the Southern Ashton Topeka Pacific Railroad, or if they would have merged together, or whatever the names they would be. I'm not so sure what it would have been, but we know BNSF
Yeah.
did a heck of a good
I mean,
job.
even if they developed the paint scheme separate, they only have their names of their own. Like Southern Pacific only displaying SP, and Santa Fe only displaying SF.
Hang on, I think I've got it now. It would have been called the Ashton Topeka Southern Pacific. That's what it would have stood for. ATSP. That probably would make sense.
True.
What do you think, Brian? What do you think about the whole merging everything? Because I know you have some history knowledge as well.
Interesting, and I really would have liked to have seen it. But well, let's just say I don't want to see the competition for the Union Pacific either.
Oh boy, Which I used to think the Union Pacific were the Southern's ultimate rivals because, and again they were a good railroad too. But I always felt that Southern and the UP were ultimate rivalry with each other. Not to mention they shared Los Angeles terminus station together.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm taking out my little Chihuahua dog.
I also think I thought the Fresno Railroad was also a good railroad too. Shame that one didn't last. That could have been good.
Yeah.
I don't know what the best railroad is, though, right?
Oh, we all do. But just saying, I'm talking about like their fleets of engines were very, very good. But there's many good railroads out there. But if there was only one in particular, I would be split with Southern and Norfolk and Western.
I was going to say
I would agree on the Norfolk and Western because you'll be surprised that NNW is the only railroad that still operates steam into the 1960s.
Okay, that is true.
They were the last major steamboat to be dieselized in May 1960.
Yeah.
Well, the D, R, G, and W had steam until 1968 because of their narrow gauge lines.
Oh yeah, in terms of steamline tradition, maybe in standardized, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's too bad that the Class 1 railroads no longer use narrow gauge railways anymore. I'm so sorry.
I heard that.
My little dog Toby is, trying to take,
He's having a bit of attention seek, is he?
Toby
no,
engine.
No, not
No.
totally.
it's my dog, my little Chihuahua dog Toby.
They used to have a dog named Toby.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a common name for dogs.
Yeah, then he went over to live with my uncle. And then my uncle lost his toe in an accident at work, so we always said, "Where my Toby?" around him.
Oh,
I see the reference.
yeah.
What about you? What did you say? What railroad you said you like, Brian? Because I couldn't hear you.
I said my number one choice for best would be Strasbourg.
Oh yeah, Strasbourg, the road to paradise, the oldest in America that's still going backwards than it is forwards.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they still do commercials or freight for steam, so.
And they also
That's
do charters as well with the photographers, and of course, it's owned by the Amish people, and it turns out that they're very friendly.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me. They actually did did this. What is it? The 87th birthday of Broadway Limited.
They did, yeah. They did like a double header with 1, 2, 2, 3, and 7002, and they did that once back, and it was a success.
And I'm pretty sure the track also connects with the Railroad Museum next door.
It does. That's where the turntable is located at.
Yeah, I mean,
Just across
we
the
all
road.
know that the true origin of the Broadway Limited was called the Pennsylvania Special.
Oh, it was. I still personally feel that the Broadway Limited was, again, more of the best, but I think it was cemented into legendary status when they had a K4 that was streamlined for the task, and then eventually, as you know, that's where the New York Central built their streamlined Hudsons or driver Hudsons to rival that single train,
To pull the 20th Century Limited and the Empire State Express.
Yeah, the 20th Century Limited is the one that many people say was the greatest train in the world, but I beg to differ because, to be honest with you, like I said, I mean, it was always splendid to see that train go by because before they would arrive into Chicago, which is where the Broadway Limited and the New York Central 20th Century Limited would go in, sometime in the morning or wherever it was, at dawn or whatever, you would have the two trains running neck and neck, and it actually did happen once in every direction, which was quite.
Yeah, that is really true because I did heard that from K&L trains.
Yeah, you learn. Yeah, speaking of K&L, you learn something new every time when they tell you some little history details you never thought existed. And I know the Broadway Limited was a good train. I always argue with the fact that it's just a shame K&L didn't bother to build that with the K4 engine that they made. You know, it would have been quite nice. I mean, they've done it with the Broadway Limit, the 20th Century Limited. I thought, why couldn't they do that with the K4 engine of the PPR? I've even asked them that a few times, and they couldn't. They didn't know why. But if they ever did, because they've been remaking the stuff now for the last 10 years now, since they've done 10 years in K&L, I'm thinking to myself, you know, what if they could actually make the train itself? You know, the streamlined version, that is, like in its entirety. But I do beg to differ in terms of like the greatest train in the world. As far as I'm concerned, you had like, you know, there's been many good UP trains who had some good expresses. I mean, Norfolk and Western had the Posey Arrow, which was their flagship express, which was only a smaller train. But if you would ask me, and this is just me saying it, I always feel that Southern Pacific had the best express train, aka the Daylight. That to me is the best. That to me is the best train in America. Period.
What do you mostly think about the Pennsylvania Railroad's T1 duplex?
But that was one. As much as its design was quite monstrous, I will say it was quite an impressive feat, considering the Pennsylvania were unlike any other railroad that they did in terms of their own building design.
Yeah, though I feel like instead of trying to build the T1 to break the Mallard's record, they should let's put some streamlining on 844 and it can do it.
B44 with that engine still hanging around, that would be a good attempt.
Maximum as it is 120 miles an hour.
Have you all heard about an old engine that once pulled the Empire State Express, number 999?
Yep. I've seen it up in person.
Yeah, I've actually, wasn't the original gone and they have a replica of it?
The original is at the Field Museum in Chicago.
Oh.
Yeah, it's still around.
I've got a buddy of mine called, what's his name? Trying to remember where his name was, and he's got a replica model of, he customized a new model of 999, and it's really, really good. I was so fortunate to have a copy of it, and it looks pretty damn good in terms of quality. I'm just amazed K&L or Trains Forge or Peter's Trains, if any of you guys know who he is. I'm surprised that none of them never got the opportunity to make it. That would have been quite cool. And 99 or 999, I should say, was the first to break the 100 barrier, although technically we all know that Flying Scotsman was the first engine to hit the 100-mile-an-hour barrier recorded officially in the 30s, even though City of Truro kind of did it, but unrecordedly. But
and NYC 999 did it before Truro did.
Basically, we could say who was
the
first.
Because from what we heard, they actually reached approximately about 112.5 miles per hour.
102, but yeah.
Well, they didn't have any speed thermometers back in those days. You had to use like a stopwatch or something to do the whole thing.
Well, they did. They were that's not as reliable.
Well, we never had any speed thermometers back in the day when we had any until the 30s came around.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the British, that is. But it would be quite nice, like I said before. I mean, maybe we could just say 999 was the first American to do it, and then you have both Truro who did it unofficially, and then you got Flying Scotsman who officially cracked the turn in the 30s, and then other engines just did it afterwards, you know.
Well, NYC 999 made that claim before Truro did, is the thing.
Yeah, when it turns to be claimed, that's the, is it really official or whatever the case. If any record books had existed, or if anybody from that time period had wrote it in the books compared to witnesses, like they did in the...
They actually did.
Oh, they did? Like a witness who was on board the train wrote it down in his diary?
The signalman.
Oh, a signalman. I think somebody on board the train would have been able to have recorded it in his diary.
Yeah, the signalman officially recorded it going 102.
Can
Okay,
I
not
show
bad.
y'all Toby?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. What does he look like? Oh, that's Toby. Oh, bless him. Almost like a mixture of a Jack Russell.
Say
there.
hi, Toby.
Hey, Toby.
Say hi, Toby.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
he's a very cute little pup.
My mum loves
Pop.
spoilers. Anyway, here's something I was. This is where I was on, a couple of months back during the summer.
Yeah, you be good boy, Toby. Yeah, you be good boy.
Here we go. I'm just going to share the audio with
Yeah,
this
and
one.
by the way,
Here we go.
my grandma, she actually bought Toby's brother by the name Odie.
Nice. Here we are. This is where I was on the Swanage Railway, and the engine that comes up is actually one of Rebecca's real life survivors. There's a lot of them around.
Seriously,
yeah,
I'm not
I've
a big.
seen several videos about those engines.
If you look closely, if you don't know on the platform, you see that person there?
Who is it?
That person, that's my mom. She didn't know I was
Oh, that's your
recording
mom?
at the time. Yeah, that's when we were in
Oh.
yeah, she doesn't know I'm recording at this point because I was trying to get the engine coming in. She's waving at me, I know you can
Nice.
tell. This is actually Rebecca's real life form, like her classmates. Now, I've been on the unstreamliners, but this was the first time I've actually been on a streamlined Bullet Pacific.
Oh yeah. Have you actually known that one of these engines got into an accident?
Yeah,
Yeah. It was really a disaster when one of these classes had an accident before.
oh, it was terrible when it happened. Okay. I've still got my thing going on there. You can't see it yet. But yeah. Oh, Madison wants to pop in with us. Oh, that was loud, Brian. What was that?
I was on my phone.
Oh,
You forgot to put it on silent, did you?
I'm listening to stream on my phone, so I really couldn't.
and and of course, as you can tell here, one of my favourites I did was actually capturing one of Duck's several survivors when I was on the Severn Valley during the spring or whatever it was. It was really, really good. It was actually one of my favourite spots on the Severn Valley Railway at Highland Valley. Highland Valley? That's CSW fiction. I meant at Highley, I meant. There we go. Here it is, if you guys can see it. I'll tell you what, it was hot up there, but it was baked. I mean, it was windy up there, but it was absolutely baking hot up there. We had a small heat wave at the time.
Actually, pretty neat.
Yeah. It's one of Duck's real life survivors. Just ignore the fact with the whole editing with my camera there. It always tends to do that whenever I'm zooming in.
What do you mostly think about the railway guns back in the war days?
Oh, that's not my cup of tea.
I think they're cool.
Oh, Jesus, somebody's even had the nerve to upload the loss of Mary T. Wyoma 30 years later when that diesel train shot out of nowhere and got hit. Damn, I totally forgot about that. And I was also at one of the railways as well when I was up at, what was it again?
Hold on a minute. Be right back.
Okay, there's also another place I went up to, another railway I went up to last summer. Yeah, this was last summer I was up. There was a small little narrow gauge railway I followed up from a footpath downwards, and you would have liked it, Brian. It was like a small mini railway, and it was actually quite cool. It's a mini railway that actually has survived to this day.
Nice.
Here it is. The engine was called Tripton, and it was at the Scarborough Mills Mini Railway. This is it here.
Yeah, I think I've seen this video.
Yeah, I know it's not much, but it is quite good when you get there. It's like a mini Flying Scotsman, which ironically enough is actually based on Scotsman's design look.
Hey, but isn't that a diesel though?
No, I think it's steam. I think it is. I'm not so sure. You can see it's got Flying Scotsman's logo. A small mini version. I was lucky to be on this train. It was really, really good. It's not like a fast train, but it's actually a nice experience to be on.
Brilliant.
It's a really good place to be and it's a really good experience. I even managed to capture when it left the station. As you can see here, I mean, it moved pretty quick for a small engine of its size. I was lucky to capture it just as it was leaving. It was very quick. This is at the end of the line. It's just a few blocks down. I actually walked it all the way here and back at one point. It's really good, though. As you can see here. Just ignore the scrutiny in the background. Someone got stuck on a climate frame.
I keep hearing something that sounds like a diesel engine.
Yes, it's supposed to go in off. Like I said, it was a very good experience. It really was. Yeah, in the background, you can hear somebody was screaming for help because somebody got stuck on the climbing framing, and I was like, oh crap! I got that on audio, so I couldn't get rid of it. So that was a bit of a disaster for me. Okay, now stop. Hang on. Okay. Hey, guys, so if you could hear me jumping back and forth, just Mom's getting ready to go to bingo. I've just stuck on the BBC, and guess what? They're going to reopen some more closed lines.
Yay!
will flourish once more. Mom said they should never be closed in the first place. So it goes to show Dr. Beeching's closing efforts were for nothing, even,
Yeah.
which makes me happy.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome, as you can tell. That was pretty cool as well. I mean, there's been so much good stuff lately, and what else is there? Yeah, I mean, back in 2018, or was it 17 or whatever it was? Oh yeah, 5 years ago. As you know, 5 years ago, I was on the Southern Light Railway with my dad, and they all say about Alfred and Hazel. Yes, I mentioned Hazel's name from you know whose name, but it turns out that in fact Hazel's the actually real life survivor of her class, and it turned out I was behind. I actually rode behind that locomotive.
Okay, I'm sorry, it took a little long.
That's all right. But here it is, guys. Here's the real life Hazel, as you all know her from the Thomas family. I mean, this is her right now. There she is, the surviving B12. This was on a cold spring gala, and it was like cold as heck. And there's a guy in a red cap. There's a guy in a red coat who walks in the photo, and that's my dad.
Oh, interesting.
This engine actually was holding the Flying Scotsman train as well because of the Teak coaches. We'll see him in a bit. There he is. There's my dad. Right there. That's him walking in the front.
What do you mostly think about the Pullman coach cars?
Awesome. Yep, there goes Hazel. It's got her number on it too.
Hey, I basically known that engine. Wasn't that the one that always wants to destroy Gordon and Henry?
Yeah.
No, that was Alfred.
Ah, I thought he looks familiar.
It's the only surviving B12.
How old are those coaches, anyways?
They've been around since the Great Northern time.
Oh.
More older than you might want to think. Dad walks in front of the camera, and you
That's
can see
actually
that.
pretty impressive to see some amazing historical trains around today.
Well, that's good. That's the best thing about Britain. We have some surviving classes just like you guys in America have.
Yeah. Like, we had some surviving of the 210 decapods that were built from Russia.
Indeed. And that is a company we do not speak of, okay?
Yeah, at least there is one of them that is still in operation.
Oh, definitely. And of course, there's a Pennsylvania railroad decapod that also survived, even though they were a nightmare operation for what the crew said. They weren't one of the best either.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time that a double-headed freight train was, traveling along with its, with its freight cars down the line when that a doodlebug was traveling on the same line that was heading straight.
The doodlebugs, man. The doodlebugs. Yeah. Even though I'm not really a big fan of them too much, I do like their design look. And it's funny how K&L made them.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the history since, Yeah, I mean,
they're
kind of
okay.
like
I didn't mind.
it's really like how it all started with gas-powered cars.
Well, I don't mind the doodlebugs because they're okay. They were steamed up and then they ended up becoming diesel or electric or whatever it was afterwards. But I always liked the originals. I'm glad we got a couple of them who are actually still around.
Yeah, and then all the yeah, and even so that the famous Bud RDCs took their place.
Well, I wasn't happy with those designs. I prefer the doodlebugs.
Yeah, everybody
Not the
does.
modern electric ones that we would see later
You
on.
prefer the doodlebugs more better than the RDCs?
What do you think, Brian?
So you prefer the Doodlebugs more better than the RDCs?
Yeah.
If the replica Titanic would be finished, what would you want to explore?
Oh, I don't know. I'd be at the bell section, I would be. Sorry about that. I had a bit of a connection over there. Also with what did you think, Brian, about the Doodlebugs off the Pennsylvania Railroad?
I think they were great for working with the steam engines instead of replacing them, which is what the diesel should have done.
Yeah, indeed. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, the Doodlebugs were once powered by gas, but later they were converted to use diesel instead because
Yeah,
of the
after
Doodlebug
an
disaster.
accident with one.
Speaking of which, here's my infamous
Yeah,
video of Fly Scotsman from 2017 when she came by on the Didcot Railway Centre and actually caught her whistling in a singing voice almost. Here we go. The engine that's 100 years old and she's still going. There she is.
Two trains racing. That's something I'd like to see. Steam versus diesel.
As you can see there, Fly Scotsman was actually whistle singing there. Basically,
What do you
Fly
mostly
Scotsman's
think
actually-
about the? What do you mostly think about the slip coaches?
I'm not
I
too fond of
An interesting concept, but they seem a little dangerous.
They do indeed.
I mean, sometimes passenger trains are always on a non-stop run.
That's true. Not all trains are going to stop. If they're doing a non-stop run thing, you can't quite get there.
Yeah, plus, if you get in the wrong coach, well, you're kind of stuck at the stop you're at.
Indeed. And you're looking for trouble if that ever happens. Hey guys, I'm just going to be gone for a sec, but if you guys can hold on, would you mind keeping this chat up going for a bit while I just attend
Sure.
to something quickly? I'll be back in like
Sure, no
12
problem.
minutes. I'll still be here.
No problem.
That'd be
Right?
all right, Brian and Astro. Can you guys keep it going and you two can discuss for a bit while I just do something quickly?
Sure.
Okay, so Astro Boy, did you ever read that rewrite I did for Tale of the Bad Engine?
Well, I don't even know actually. By the way, my best friend Jason actually created a fan-made series that we made. It's called the Steam Railways.
I might have heard of that.
Yeah, so it was like the best fan-made series that my buddy Jason made, and it's all about the American steam locomotives.
That does sound familiar to me, although I'm thinking about a different series, not with that.
So, my best friend Jason wanted me to voice David, aka the Pennsylvania Railroad's T1 duplex.
Oh, another David. And I'm not referring to an NW1218's David. Ugh. We don't want to go into the Cruiseville 311 type of style.
Yeah. I don't remember what happened in that.
Well, you weren't there at the time when the whole thing
I
collapsed.
was talking on the outside, though.
I mean, you weren't there at the time when I knew you and when I was doing the movie. I mean, it was the after effects. It happened afterwards when we were doing Live Metal.
Yeah.
But it's still regards one of the best ever, and everyone still loves it. Everybody's still giving me good, congrats to this day still. So it's amazing. And what the other guys don't know is that they're still getting praised and congratulated. It's not just me; it's all the guys that worked with me that they don't realise that they should be commended for what they did too. So it wasn't just all me; it was them as well.
I'm very excited to see the new T1.
Well, I hope it works out if it does happen.
I mean, I would very much like to support the T1 Trust.
I kind of want to. I still do in terms of mutual respect because I want to see what the Americans can do if they can beat us. Friendly national competition.
Yeah.
Oh,
What do you mostly think about the bullet trains in Japan?
Not too fond of them. I can see Milos. I can see you guys share screen of old film up. Oh Jesus! I can see on his share screen. He's got my film up.
Did you see the ones that are like in yellow with the blue stripe in the middle?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, basically what Japan usually call those trains, they nickname them Dr. Yellow.
Oh, jeez. I'd be surprised if that was after a character. Dr. Yellow!
Yeah, I mean, it's basically this train and its crew is like they're in charge to actually see, like to maintain all the stuff on each and every bullet train lines to make sure that everything is okay down there, especially the electrical cables.
That definitely makes sense.
And they always have to make sure that everything is still operational.
Think of a James Bond film. Or the
Yeah.
name for a James Bond film.
Anyways, I'm back. Also, you won't believe, I posted a TikTok video that I've recorded I got a customized Nintendo box car that I got from eBay. Like, imagine if Nintendo would have really, like, make great money out of these cars.
Hey guys, I'm just going to be back in a second. I know this is going to be a bit of a long spur, but I hope you guys will be okay, alright? Won't be for too long.
Alright then, take your time.
So going back to what I did for Tale of the Bad Engine, I completely fixed the timeline. I also threw in some elements of TARDIS 9.
What's your favorite Nintendo game?
Probably Nightmare Troubledore for the Nintendo DS.
Oh, I see. Well, you won't believe this. I actually got a game all the way from Japan. It's actually a Japanese train simulated game.
Nice.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, if I may be correct, I mean the Nintendo DS in America can still be programmed to play any games that are from Japan. Like, you get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Seems like I'm getting where you're coming from.
Out of all the Nintendo consoles, which one is your most favorite?
The Virtual Boy. No, it's actually the Nintendo DS.
Oh, you like the Nintendo DS? I got one too.
Oh, the Nintendo DS.
Well, technically, I use the 3DS, but yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
You
was
know,
first gonna have one.
I was actually hoping that Capcom would have released Mega Man Star Force 4, but sadly that game was canceled.
Mm. A lot of the cool stuff gets canceled.
Well, I will admit Capcom was better with other stuff, but I always prefer them doing what they did in Street Fighter. You know, my favorite villain being M. Bison and all. Yeah. That's how I
To me,
discovered them because
about Capcom, I'm usually a Mega Man fan because I'm always into lots of Mega Man games.
anyways, you two continue and I'll be right back with you guys in about a few minutes or so.
But out of all the other Mega Man games, I'm more into the Mega Man Battle Network games for the GBA and Star Force for the DS.
Yeah.
And I guess you heard about the new release of Battle Network Legacy Collection, right?
Yep. I remember when the Mega Man used to use the battle chips as well.
Yeah. And in Star Force, now they only use battle cards, which basically they share the same functions as battle chips. And even the Wave Transfer and the Wave Scanner and the Mobile Terminal, those devices actually continue the legacy of the PET models.
Mm.
Which one is your favorite PET model from Battle Network? Like, there's 6 models.
I gotta go with the first one. I'm just a big fan of classics, you know.
I would go for the Advanced PET2, because it's actually a lot more powerful than its predecessor, the Advanced PET.
Yeah.
Were you also surprised that in the animated series of NT Warrior, that Len and Mega Man did like a cross fusion?
I have to admit that I kind of stopped watching by that point with the whole cross fusion because I feel like, you know, lost the original spirit of the show by that point.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've heard from, like, very correctly, the animated series were like a complete different stories from their games.
Yeah.
Like, we all know that in the game, Mega Man EXE was actually Hub Hikari, aka Lan's twin brother.
Yeah.
Like, nobody even knew that Lan had a twin brother.
Yeah.
Were you surprised to know about that?
I was, and I kind of felt like that was one of those plot twists that just didn't make sense. Yeah, I felt like it was an M. Night Shyamalan plot twist.
What do you mostly think about Operate Star Force, which is basically a remake of Mega Man Battle Network 1?
You know, I actually haven't played that one.
It's available for the Nintendo DS, though, and you could still play it.
Yeah. Middle of moving, my 3DS got packed up. It's in some storage box, who knows where.
Yeah.
Alright, thanks, Mom.
I mean, Operate Star Force is like one of the coolest games. Like, you could actually choose 2 versions of Mega Mans in the game. Like you can choose Star Force Mega Man or Mega Man EXE in the game.
You know what I'd like to see?
What?
Then make a 2-player Mega Man game with Roll as the second player.
Hmm.
You know, kind of like how some Mario games do with Mario and Luigi.
You've also heard about two crossover games of Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yep.
That's like the coolest game ever. We actually got to see X and Zero too, but kind of disappointed that Axel never made it into the game.
Yeah.
What do you mostly think about Axel from the Mega Man X series?
Well, I was upset he never made it into the game, so.
Yeah, I mean, he's very cool. Like, even though he is a prototype next generation Reploid, I mean, his copying ability is really, really handy.
Plus, he would have made a great final boss,
Mm-hmm. And basically, what Axel didn't know is that new generation Reploids, like the newer ones, like they are far more advanced than Axel's copying abilities, which means that those Reploids can actually copy any type of sizes of Reploids.
One second.
But for Axel, he can only copy Reploids that are only on his size because he is still a prototype.
Yeah.
Have you watched gameplay videos of Mega Man X Command Mission?
Yeah.
I do believe that is like the coolest game. I kind of like the X Command Mission version of X Armor because that armor looks really more cooler.
I would like them to make a really great open world game of Mega Man, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what do you mostly think about Mega Man EXE from Battle Network?
The whole Battle Network series is my favorite of the timeline, so.
And what about Star Force?
Battle Network was the anime series I grew up watching, so.
And Star Force has its own animated series too. You can't
I
forget
know,
about that.
I never caught it. And like halfway through it, the English dub got canceled.
Yeah. I still kind of like the intro, from Star Force in America. That's like suited more better.
And my favorite intro will always be the original 1980s one. Super fighting robot. Mega Man.
Yeah, the Ruby Spears Mega Man series.
Yeah. Wasn't the greatest series for Mega Man, but they have one of the best theme songs.
Yeah.
Kind of like the same vein as 4Kids,
I'm still here, guys. I've just come back in. Sorry if it's been a bit quiet. But yeah,
Oh,
I heard what you guys were saying.
yeah. We were just talking about some other Mega Man games and all other things that we talk about.
And then I brought up 4Kids.
Yeah.
You know what? Say what you want about the whole Japanimation. Those theme songs were awesome.
Oh, definitely. I remember hearing some of them. They were very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the things about Japan. They make some really good badass theme songs that almost make us like nothing. But you know,
no
they are very,
kidding.
very
I
good.
listened to one of their best musics that they have made there.
Well, when it comes to video games, that's definitely the key thing. But nowadays, especially if you listen to anime or theme song music or whatever the case they're going to do, they know their stuff. Especially in modern time, they know what they can do. I mean, I know they're kind of different to us. They know how to connect to everybody worldwide, and I think music definitely plays a part in it. Even if we don't know what they're saying in even if we don't know what they're kind of saying unless they've got the subtitles in, they sound very, very good, and it's easy to know why.
True.
Despite a lot of them almost look very expressionless in some cases, most of them do seem to know how to express emotions differently compared to us.
By the way, have you watched this an animated movie called The Legend of the Titanic?
We don't bring that up.
Yes, I have, and I wish I hadn't.
We don't bring it up because that brings me back some bad, tender memories, man. Not in terms of the movie itself, but in terms of a certain friend I used to be with. And we always used to take the piss on it, you know? Back in the day when I was doing my Titanic crossover, we took a few piss shots at that. But I will admit the art form I think was okay, but it wish it could have been a lot more better. Although, technically, if anime did a Titanic movie in today's time, based on what my fanfic would be, it'd be a hell of a lot better. And it would be called The Legend of Titanic, just an anime version. With characters who resemble them, the real characters just under different names.
What do you prefer? Like you like James Cameron's movie Titanic more better?
Well, if that was an anime, that would have been good. Although, if you were to reread my fanfic on Titanic, it's more like a hybrid of all the films.
It's your James Cameron's Titanic. It's a James Cameron movie to be interested. You know, it's gonna be good.
I mean, he is the person who made the movie the Terminator.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
James Cameron is the best.
Too.
version of things.
Still cared.
Yeah,
And
well,
It might be one of the best movies ever made.
well, it's still the best Titanic film if you want to compare it to Night to Remember, which had a more historic account, didn't have any plots or whatever. Whereas all the other films we've seen have basically had little fictions and twists in there. Whereas, but
Yeah.
in my
Now
personal
that
opinion,
you mention it, there is a video that shows the similarities between the two movies of the A Night to Remember and the 1997 Titanic movie. Like there are some comparison between the two films.
well, yeah, there's plenty of lines that James Cameron reused in there that were done as well, which are very good.
Yeah.
Like I said, Titanic 97, which was James Cameron's and Roy Wagner's film, A Night to Remember, 1958, they were the closest to the real thing of seeing Titanic. I mean, regardless of how many times we've seen models of vessels being made in different films, they were still good in their own ways.
Yeah, but here's the thing that I actually noticed on the in the James Cameron Titanic movie, because they did not actually add the scene where the Carpathia receives the distress call from Titanic. Because in every Titanic films, it always has that scene where the Carpathia made its appearance in the film.
It just makes you think of all the tiny little things that happened that caused the accident. Like maybe if that guy or somebody had broken open the box that contained the binoculars, or that one guy hadn't forgotten the key, Or
Yeah,
that
'cause,
one
there
the
was a
ship
full
struck.
video that shows one of the officers was packing everything up and didn't even realize that the key to the binoculars was in his suitcase. And like if he didn't even keep those keys in the suitcase, then none of this disaster would have happened.
Yeah. Another Titanic isn't even the top 50 when it comes to shipwrecks loss of life.
Okay, guys, I'm back again. So I keep dodging in and out. I'm still here, guys. Ugh. I'm
Oh,
still here, guys.
And
Sorry
he's
about
gone.
that. Yeah, we just lost him. I'm sorry if I'm
I
having
wonder what
internet
happened.
connection. I'm having internet connection problems. It happens every time at this time of the night.
Hmm.
Anyways, I'm back anyways.
All right.
I'm just gonna put my camera on. So, hey mate,
Okay.
just come back out. Had to quickly get changed and everything else. Got my lamp here on the background just to save me some security. Oh, Nintendo. Got me into game a
Pretty
lot
cool,
of
huh?
time. Here, I've just got me
Yeah.
camera. I've just got me a little lamp thing here just to save electricity.
By the way, you won't believe this, but I actually found another customized boxcar that basically shows the classic NES controller.
Oh, nice. I've got one too.
I should definitely get one of those myself since I have the Nintendo logo boxcar.
Since you were speaking about other bits and bobs, I actually got these. Here, I've got these little novels I've been reading lately. They're actually two of them are screenplays from films we had. I got this one. I was glad I got it. I got this Star Wars screenplay, which had episodes 4, 5, and 6 all wrapped into one.
Whoa.
I advise you to get this. It's really got some good words in there that we didn't hear in the film, like extra dialogue. Tells you more deeper detail. And there's Darth Vader in the background.
That's very nice.
There are some other adaptations which had more dialogues in than that, but this is like the screenplay novelizations of episodes 4, 5, and 6, and it is really, really good.
I see. It's very interesting.
Yeah, with some parts that didn't even make it into the final cut or whatever. And of course, I got this as well. My favorite Disney remake, Dumbo, the elephant with big ears. This was the novel I got back in 2019 when it actually came out, and the day it was released on March 29th. Which got me as a Disney fan again, which to me is the best remake in my opinion. Here it is. This is actually what the original screenplay was about. It wasn't just called Dumbo. It also had the word "this" here as well. So this was the original title line for it.
Nice.
That's good. It's got some more dialogue in there that the originals didn't, that the film itself didn't produce as much. But it's a really good detail in terms of like the way it's read in. It's really nice.
That's
Almost as good as the original film itself that popped out in 2019, but they're both good. This one tells you much more deeper insight than the film itself. And there's another one. speaking of Titanic, there's actually a fictional one which had a replica of Titanic. And I'm not sure if you'd like this one, but I would suggest you get this if you want to read novels and everything else. This is one you should get.
Well, let's see.
And the last Titanic survivor, it says on the back cover, it says, very well written and most entertaining. That was from the last survivor.
And I'm guessing that it's probably Melvina Dean, huh?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Hold
what
on
she
for a minute.
said on the back cover. And it says it's not a Titanic cover of her, but it's a replica of Titanic. But this is to give you an idea. And this is actually the title of it. This would make a heck of a good movie if it was done right.
Oh, that's actually pretty nice.
It's got some
I
writing on the
got
wall,
3 Titanic books actually.
but this is fictional, based on a modern day liner. And instead of it called being Titanic, Joe, what the ship in this one's called?
What is it?
The ship itself is called Titan's Sister.
Ah,
She is basically a replica variation of the Titanic, to a modern day standard version of herself. It says on the back cover,
interesting.
It says on the back cover, it says, Titan's sister is a wonder to behold. Yet shipbuilder Abraham Hardwood begins to question whether that the more than just the physical resemblance between the two ships. Interpreted detective Milka Jones joins the ship's maiden voyage to investigate the strange accidents involving the ship itself. Titan's sister is scheduled to set on her maiden voyage from the harbor in northern Florida, but just as the ship's brash owner begins to, at the sequence launch sees it, a sudden unexpected accident takes the life of one of its crew. Not long afterwards, Hardwood watches in horror as the dock that he's made on where the mafia's hull is rested, it catches fire, turning into a raging inferno. And Hardwood suddenly comes to realization that a chain of unusual, dangerous events have begun that could launch the beautiful ship straight into huge disaster. Yet instead of solving the mystery, Jones and Hardwood are faced with a new nightmare once Titan's sister is finally at sea, and they begin to wonder if the same fate as the Titanic is awaiting her. It's a pretty good story to read, and I've read it a few times, and it's a hell of a good story.
That's interesting to know.
And I'll be honest with you, I know James Cameron won't do another Titanic film again, but I dare say if they ever made a sequel, this definitely would be the key to it.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting to know about that. Anyways, I think I gotta go because my Wi-Fi would get disconnected and it would, cut off from the stream, and I gotta do some
We've
work
been
to
on for
do.
about an hour or so, but we've done quite well, like celebrating 15 years or so, and it was nice of you to come on, Astro. Hopefully you guys can come back. If anybody else wants to come in, I've got the link in the description for you to read.
Yeah, well, I gotta go. See you later, bud.
Oh, it's all right, mate. If anybody else wants to pop in, I have left a link in, but like I said, there was a lot of cool things that happened, 15 years, and I'm still here doing well. Sorry if I wasn't down too much, guys, but I had to do something quickly, and I'm here now. Just going to see what else I could put on to show what we've got. Huh. Interesting. Just looking out to see let's see what's going on. Just looking to see what we can watch to see, just to pass the time. Just going to put my share screen up, which will be quite good. I'm just going to put some good wrestling on to see what we got to celebrate 10 years of my thing, and I think this will be quite good. Yeah, I'm just going to put some quite good.
I mean, his master has a plan. I think I would change masters.
Here we are, watch a little bit of wrestling.
I would too. I can't argue. Oh man.
And since it's been 25 years since WWF Legend Kane debuted, here's what my old BTM Fantasy guys did back in the day in 2015. This was really, really cool. As you can tell, I'm just going to make it bigger. There we go.
Uh-oh.
And there's Kane right there. My man. Ah,
I don't like it when Kane comes out.
The jokes are over now.
there's my man Kane, the
This is
Big Red
serious.
Machine.
For about 2 minutes.
25 years since he debuted.
Evil Kevin Sullivan.
Has Kane changed his ring gear? Because
Bit of a mashup going on. This is how he looks in the NWA these days.
there's a bit of his face. We can see a bit of his face. Which is
There comes Kane with the
Pentagon
Hellfire
getting
and
the
Brimstone.
hell out of the way.
Oh yeah,
I don't
whoa!
Kane, for the past year, quite frankly, has been unstoppable.
That's why my man's here. This is the Big Red Machine from WWF, man.
I would predict that might continue.
I would predict right with you, not because I have personal investment in this match.
And the defending champion are coming to the ring by Kevin Sullivan, representing the NWA, weighing 223 pounds. He is the IWGP champion.
There's my man Kane, the legendary Big Red Machine. Man I idolized.
If this match goes 10 minutes, I'll give Pentagon credit. You take a look at it because you're not getting it.
Kane is surrendering that belt, but he obviously doesn't think
He
it'll be
expects
for
to
the
get it
last
back.
time.
He'll be seeing that championship again if Kane has his way, and he very often does. Kane having a little disco, little dance there.
Look, that's a good
Hey,
way to get.
hey,
Well,
never
so
know.
much for the fight. That's it.
Hey, you never know.
Oh, yeah,
We've
goes to
seen
the
it-
cover. No, okay.
We've seen upsets before. You never know. Crazy things have happened in this business.
Oh,
Kane, obviously, with the size and the strength advantage.
Indeed.
Pentagon
Change
has
the helmet, man.
no advantage.
I mean, Pentagon has the speed advantage, but
It's kind of hard
Yeah,
to have
he's gotta
speed
use
against
that.
a brick wall. That
Yeah.
much.
yeah.
Oh,
Jesus.
jeez, Kane.
I mean, Pentagon, he's gonna wanna strike.
This is
and
why
dodge
Kane's a
and
man,
get out
man.
of the way
He's
some of these
idolized this
attacks.
Big Red Machine, dude.
Ooh, jawbreaker.
If I was to go up against Kane, I would do like a stick and move tactic and attempt to hope it worked.
Pentagon, you give him credit. He might have the technical advantage here also if he can get Kane down on the ground.
He's going for a cover after one suplex.
Oh,
That
no.
will not do it.
If I was in a match against Kane, I would leave.
To be fair, I
would
agree.
too.
And then, of course, the Taskmaster there on the outside, the X Factor.
Well, guys, like I said, I might have to wrap this one up. I could do a part 2 stream for this, but it seems like everybody else is kind of left, so I might wrap this one up. It's been cool, guys. I might do a part 2 celebration maybe after the following day, depending on what's going to happen. But thanks for tuning in, guys. I mean, it wasn't quite a celebration as we hoped, but hey, at least I'm still going. Take care, lads. Kane Fan 701, end the stream right now.